After working behind the bar for almost 20 years, and yes, I do look good for my age, I have to remind myself that bartending is hard. Some of which seems commonplace to a professional bartender might seem mysterious to an outside observer. Underberg shots, for instance. I wanted to just take a moment to answer one of the questions I'm most often asked behind the bar. The difference between shaking and stirring may seem trivial, like just another step of a recipe, but mixing correctly is often the most important part of making a cocktail. You're chilling, diluting, and mixing the ingredients together. These elements massively alter the taste and texture of your drink long before it even hits the glass. Mixing in the right amount of ice-cold water is the difference between drinking a glass of plain room temperature gin and drinking a cool, classy martini. See the difference? Whether your drink should be shaken or stirred, however, depends on the ingredients of your cocktail. And for some, their own personal preferences. But the general rule of thumb is that if a cocktail has citrus, cream, egg, or any other opaque ingredient, you shake it. Shaking gives you a much colder cocktail than what you might get by stirring in a mixing glass. Science! Cocktails that should be shaken are ones that contain dairy, cream, fruit juices, eggs, or sour mix. Don't use sour mix! These drinks get a better balance of flavor and alcohol with the act of shaking. Think of how great a well-made daiquiri or margarita can be. When shaking a cocktail, be sure to keep a firm grip on your shaker and shake it hard. That's really it. Dance around all you like, but most shaking techniques make no real difference in the end temperature or dilution.
There are other methods, you know, like tossing, dry shaking, swizzling, hard shaking, and blending. But don't get ahead of yourself there, chum. Learn to crawl before you walk, and all.
Stick with something comfortable, and won't be embarrassing when you see it later on social media. A 10 to 15 second over-the-shoulder shake is pretty common among bartenders. Stirring cocktails combines flavors in a less aggressive way. When you make a stirred drink, you minimize the amount of dilution that occurs and better balance the concentration of spirits. Cocktails that should be stirred are typically ones composed fully of spirits, but can include tonics, bitters, or drinks that are built in the glass they'll be served in. Unlike shaking, stirred cocktails require a somewhat gentle technique, the right momentum, and a couple of tools. A long-handled bar spoon is typically considered the best tool to use, but in a pinch, a pair of chopsticks will work just as well. The mixing glass is what you're using to stir your cocktail in. I like one with a heavy base and a narrow pour spout, but in a pinch, you can use a pint glass or the base of your tin as well. To stir, use your fingers to guide the spoon around the glass, keeping the back of the spoon touching the wall as it rotates. If done correctly, the ice cubes should all spin together as a cohesive unit to prevent excess dilution, splashing, and spillage. The length of time depends on the drink, with most drinks falling in the 20 to 30 second range. In the end, is it really such a crime to shake a Manhattan or a Negroni? Of course not. I've had many guests at my bar specifically request their classically stirred cocktail be shaken for one reason or another.
Maybe they like ice chips in their Manhattan. Or maybe they just like their Negronis a scotch colder.
So if you prefer a shaken martini, order one. If you like a little orange juice stirred in your old-fashioned, do it. I promise I won't judge. So in the end, when do you shake or stir a cocktail? I wouldn't stir a daiquiri, but I might shake a martini. If you need, follow this simple guide. Shake for airy, stir for silky, dry shake for frothy, hard shake for fluffy, swizzle for tiki, toss for showy, blend for slushy, and in all other cases, serve over ice with a lemon or orange twist. Just don't ask me to stir anything with egg white.